Eastland County, resting in west central Texas, has a population of 18,583. The county seat is Eastland, Texas, both of which county and town were named for Republic of Texas Army Officer William Mosby Eastland, who was part of Santa Anna's Awful Black Bean episode. The county was founded in 1858, but officially organized 15 years later in 1873.
Drive across Texas.
I met with Chamber President Alicia Elrod and Executive Director Laura Hobbs to get the inside scoop about the Eastland Rip Fest. The Chamber starts in March filing paperwork with the city and the state of Texas. Forms are sent out to vendors for the 5K and the parade entries. The ladies talk to people daily to make sure everyone knows where they're supposed to be. I learned it's a lot of work, but also a lot of fun. Laura told me about 2,000 people attend the Rip Fest. That's about the average for a Pat Waters concert.
Drive across Texas.
Once we got into Eastland, Texas, we got to meet the mayor, Larry Vernon. He was kind enough to tell us about Rip Fest. Old Rip, who'd have guessed a little horned lizard known to Texans as a horned toad would be responsible for putting a tiny Texas town on the map. Old Rip's story begins way back in 1897 when he was placed in the cornerstone of the county's third courthouse. That particular courthouse was demolished in February of 1928 so that the current building could be erected. Surprising everyone, some 31 years later, the lizard was still alive. The tiny creature was named Rip after Rip Van Winkle and instantly notorious. He even went on tour around the country, meeting President Coolidge in many notable places around the nation. Less than a year later, though, Rip met his demise. The autopsy concluded that the cause of death was pneumonia. Rip was embalmed and placed in a red velvet-lined coffin on display in the courthouse lobby. Quite amazing how one little horned lizard stuck in a wall for 31 years could cause such a ruckus. But then again, it is one of those Texas tales after all. I asked the mayor to describe Rip Fest in one word. People, thank you for your hospitality. Y'all remember, folks, this baby's coming from the Texas, and on your destination spot for your next drive across Texas, be sure to pull in here in Eastland, Texas.
Drive across Texas.
Hi, Ann.
Hi, Pat.
It's good to see you again. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, folks, whenever I come into Eastland, Texas, I always want to stay in a 100-year-old building downtown Eastland. It's the Eastland Historic Hotel. Miss Ann Zellick, she is the proprietor with her husband Mike, and man, thank you so much for having me, for the hospitality always. Let's give them a little information about the building, when it was built, and when y'all bought it, and what it's all about here.
The hotel was built 100 years ago as a rooming house during the oil boom. We now have 9 hotel rooms, each with their own private bath.
On your next drive across Texas, if you're coming down Interstate 20 and you happen to wheel into Eastland, Texas, be sure to come see Miss Ann and Mike at the Eastland Historic Hotel. You won't be disappointed. And remember, the baby's coming from a Texan. Adios.
All right, well, let me show you on up to your room.
All right,
this
let's do
way,
it.
Pat.
Drive across Texas.
Welcome to Eastland, Texas, home of the Eastland Historic Hotel. The personal touch of a bed and breakfast is what you'll experience at the Eastland Hotel. 9 wonderful and unique rooms. Come relax in our private courtyard, swimming pool, and lounge area. You'll discover that the Eastland Hotel offers the perfect retreat. For more information, contact Mike or Ann Zellick at www.theeastlandhotel.com.
Drive across Texas.
After a great night's sleep at the Eastland Historic Hotel, we made our way to the vendors setting up and ran into our good friend, Brian Jackson. Got my old buddy Brian Jackson here. Brian, you're going to be performing at the Rip Fest today.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some of my wheelie stunts up and down Main Street. And isn't that really cool? Small town Texas is alive.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of these places can't even throw candy anymore. Here in Eastland, Texas, we're doing world record stunts up and down Main Street.
It's a great day of entertainment here at the Rip Fest in Eastland, Texas. Tell you what, I appreciate your hospitality. Y'all got a wonderful town here.
So glad to have you.
We met a lot of great folks and made a lot of new friends in Eastland, Texas, but the one that stood out was this young man without even saying a word. I got my buddy Dagan here. I challenged him to a contest. We have the bean, boozled, the belly flop. So what we're going to do is we're each going to get one, and the first one to spit out a nasty toast is the loser. You up for that? All right, man. Grab one. All right, I'm going to grab one. All right, first one to spit out loses, okay? You ready? Put him in. It tastes bad. Man, that tastes like a nasty foot. What's yours taste like? Bad? Spit it out. I've already lost. Hey folks, we had a great time in Eastland, Texas. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank the mayor, the Chamber of Commerce, Brian Jackson, and the entire community for their hospitality. On your next drive across Texas, if you're making your way up Interstate 20, y'all be sure and pull into Eastland and see this great Texas community. Well, all things must come to an end. Y'all remember, this baby's coming from a Texan. Adios.
Hey folks, you eat yet? Or in other words, are you hungry? Sherry and Eddie Martin has just a place for you. The Courthouse Whistle Stop Cafe, located at 318 North Washington, downtown Livingston, Texas. The Courthouse Whistle Stop Cafe, serving the best breakfast and the finest in lunches. The Courthouse Whistle Stop Cafe, you can reach them at 936-327-3222. That's 936-327-3222. Like us on Facebook or catch us on the web, courthousewhistlestop.com.
Did you eat yet?
Hey y'all, it's Wendy Johnson with Drive Across Texas, and I'm here with one of my favorite people, Miss Nancy Russell, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she's been up to these days.
Wendy, it's good seeing you. I'm a real estate agent now with Keller Williams. If you're looking to buy a home, I can help you find a home. If you're trying to sell your home, I'll be more than happy to list it and take care of all your real estate needs.
So there you have it, folks. If you're looking for a good real estate agent, check out Miss Nancy.
An Old Memory, the critically acclaimed new tribute album from Dylan Scott, features 7 traditional country songs honoring one of his musical heroes, Keith Whitley.
When you say nothing at all,
The project includes Don't Close Your Eyes,
don't close your eyes, let it be me.
Between an Old Memory and Me,
An old memory
and more. An Old Memory, the new album from Dylan Scott, available now on Amazon Music.
When you say nothing at all.
Now I feel so thankfully that you have been so good to me.
On this episode of Drive Across Texas, we're going to share a little United States history with you. On our drive today, we happened upon Old Glory, Texas, originally the town of Brandenburg. The community was laid out by a German immigrant early 1903. When the war broke out, the local German community wanted to change the name to Old Glory to show their patriotism and pride for their adopted country. The name was officially changed in 1918. The community reached its peak in the mid-60s with some 250 residents. Now this quiet little community on the Texas road map serves as a visual reminder of bygone times when pride of one's country ran strong. So next time you're rolling down US Highway 380, don't miss the turnoff to FM 1835. As you roll through Old Glory, stop a moment, take in the flag, and show some American pride. Bandera, Texas, deep in the heart of Bandera County, is known as the cowboy capital of the world. This designation comes from when Bandera became a staging area for the last great cattle drives of the late 1800s. Located on the beautiful Medina River, the land is lush, the wildflowers bloom readily, and real honest-to-goodness cowboys roam the streets. A blending of cultures incorporates a unique ambience in Bandera that you just can't find anywhere else in Texas. So saddle up and mosey on over to Bandera. It's a must stop on your drive across Texas. Hey folks, welcome back to Drive Across Texas. I'm your host, Pat Waters. We're still in Bandera, Texas today. We're at the Hens Nest with Shelly Hinton. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
No, I'm great, man. So tell me about the Hens Nest.
Well, the Hens Nest is a different place to dine, a different way to dine. We opened in January. We're open normally Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of every weekend, and we serve a different menu every weekend. I have my own hens at the house, and we use the fresh eggs, and every dish has some form of egg on it.
Neat. How many birds you got?
We have 29.
And you're fixing to get, what, 12 more?
12 more. We try to do 12 a year and just let the flock grow, and once they stop laying, we continue to feed them and love on them.
They're just pets after they stop producing then, huh?
They are.
That's awesome. That's the same way they treat me here at Drive Across Texas. I'm just kind of like a pet.
Pet you every once in a while.
Yeah, every now and then, kick me a peanut. We like to geocache, and Wendy, she always don't tell us and tries to steal the glory, you know, so that's just the way it rolls. So, you come from a long line of cooks. What made you decide to open a restaurant?
Well, cooking, I was taught by my grandmother on my father's side. We would spend summers and Christmases, a couple of weeks at a time with her, and she always would let us watch her cook. We couldn't be in the kitchen with her, but we could watch her. So that's how I learned how to cook, was watching my grandma. So a lot of my recipes are usually, old school. They're usually not real healthy for you.
Well, that's okay. That's the best kind of food.
Have some bacon in them.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. There wasn't that.
And then opening the restaurant, I've always loved to cook. And we have our youngest son is a senior in high school this year, and I knew that my husband works out of town. It's like, what am I going to do? So I figured I would do this, and it's been a lot of fun.
So you attacked that empty nesting syndrome, you head on, right?
That's right. You might as well do what you love to do.
That's exactly right. I was intrigued a while ago. I was talking to your husband and your baby boy off there, as well as you, and you've got 4 sons, and 3 of them are Marines.
Yes, sir.
That is phenomenal. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of them.
Great young men, I promise you. And I don't know their names. I hadn't had the opportunity to meet them, but I want to say thank you for your service. You allow us to do exactly, chase the American dream, and we don't take that lightly here at Drive Across Texas or at Pat Waters Music. So thank your boys for me when you see them.
I will do that.
So, you don't do this full time. You have another occupation.
What is that? I've been for over 20 years, well over 20 years. I won't tell my age, but I've been a dental hygienist in Kerrville for Dr. Carol Butler. And I work with him Monday through Thursday, and then whenever we're off, like this week we're off for spring break, so I open the restaurant during the week and just to see who would come in. And we live in a great tourist town here in Bandera, so a lot of people, a lot of families come through during the day, and we're in this little market, so it's perfect.
That's awesome. I noticed, I thought you were staring into my eyes a while ago. You was looking at that tartar in my teeth, weren't you?
I wasn't. Surprisingly, I never noticed teeth. I always look at eyes.
So, are you originally from Bandera, you and your husband?
No, I'm not. I'm originally from a town pretty much in between Houston and Beaumont. It's Tarkin and Prairie. It's not on the map, but that's where
off 321?
321, yes, sir.
50, and 59?
Right there between Cleveland and Dayton. And my husband's from San Antonio.
That's awesome.
So we met when he was working offshore, down in that area. So
that's awesome. Well, that's
moved
great.
me this way.
4 boys. What a beautiful family. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, thank you.
I can't wait to try some of your food. I know we're going to eat here in a second.
I made a pretty good menu for y'all.
Did you?
Yeah.
Does it have bacon and eggs in it?
Yes, it does. Every bit of it.
Anyway, if you're down here, folks, Bandera, Texas, the cowboy capital of the world, on the weekend, be sure to stop here at the Hens Nest and see Miss Shelley. She'll cook you a phenomenal meal, and I tell you what, you'll enjoy just the hospitality and sitting there speaking to them. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You got a wonderful place here. I wish you nothing but success.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here at the Nest, we try to give back to the community. I'm real big on the community, and excuse me, we offer all of our first responders free meals if they come in uniform. And we also, ladies who bring their receipt for their mammograms, if they'll bring it every week, first weekend of the month, they get free meals as well.
That is phenomenal. I'm telling you what, I know this business is going to be very successful because your heart's in the right place, and thank you for that.
Thanks.
You know, I mean, that's, you know, military, first responders, we do a lot of stuff on Drive Across Texas with them, and we do not take it for granted. You know, they're the most underpaid, overworked individuals in the world, but like I said, thank you for that, and like I said, nothing but success for you.
Thank you.
And folks, like I said, if you're down in Bandera over the weekend, cowboy capital of the world, be sure come in and talk to Miss Shelley at the Hens Nest here. You won't be disappointed. And y'all remember now, that baby's coming from a Texan. Adios. Welcome to Fairfield Marriott Decatur Conference Center, located at 1910 West US Highway 380 in Decatur, Texas. A lot of people don't realize this, but Highway 380 is actually a destination highway to multiple historic downtown Main Street cities, Decatur, Texas being one of them. Fairfield Marriott is a brand new hotel with 107 spacious rooms and suites. They offer a state-of-the-art fitness center, business center, pool, meeting space, free high-speed internet, and a free extensive breakfast buffet. As you can see, they're adjacent to the Decatur Conference Center. This 27,000 square foot full-service meeting facility is flexible enough to accommodate large events such as conventions and multi-day trade shows, as well as small corporate or specialized gatherings. Let them focus on the details while you focus on the results. Right en route, the North Texas Wine Trail, and just minutes from historical Decatur Town Square, you won't be disappointed with your stay at Fairfield Marriott Decatur Conference Center. So come eat, come play, come shop, come stay, Decatur.
Now I feel so thankfully that you have been so good to me.
Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Drive Across Texas. I'm your host, Pat Waters. Headed to do a show out in West Texas today and thought I'd stop and do a little geocaching at a Texas ghost town at the intersection of 377 and Farm to Market 1222, a little town called Camp Air, Texas. In the early 1800s, the Comanches Indians used this for pasture land, and in the 1850s, soldiers from Fort Mason used to cut hay for their animals. This town grew to a whopping population of 75 in the 1940s. The next time you're driving down 377 and you cross Farm to Market Road 1222, be sure to stop, do a little geocaching in this Texas ghost town called Camp Air, Texas. Remember folks, that baby's coming from a Texan. Adios.
You're watching Strike TV Video Country. Call your local cable and satellite TV provider and ask about Strike TV.
Welcome to Tamales Mexican Restaurant. Our chefs are here every day at 8 a.m. preparing the freshest chips, guacamole, and pico de gallo from scratch. We take pride in preparing everything healthy and fresh. Our cheese is hormone-free and all of our meals are chemical and preservative-free. We use real skirt steak, not sirloin or round steak, but the inside skirt steak, the real Mexican way. We'd love to give you a tour of our kitchen. For the freshest meals made from food with integrity, come see us at Tamales Mexican Restaurant.
Waxahachie, Texas, a place in your heart, situated smack dab in the middle of Ellis County. Waxahachie boasts the second most photographed landmark in the entire state of Texas, and that's the 1895 Ellis County Courthouse. Known for its small town appeal, just a short hop from the Metroplex, Waxahachie attracts a wide array of tourists and visitors at its many festivals, booming downtown area, and the Gingerbread Trail. I'm telling you folks, it's certainly worth your next drive across Texas. And y'all remember, that baby's coming from a Texan.
Hey y'all, it's Wendy Johnson with Drive Across Texas, and I'm here at Tamales Mexican Restaurant in Waxahachie, Texas with Bob Straight. No kin to George.
No kin.
That's okay. And Bob is going to tell us a little bit about Tamales Mexican Restaurant and what is so great about why people should drive across Texas.
Oh, well, thanks, Wendy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I am very passionate about what we do. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to see what happens in the kitchen, and that's where I spend most of my time. We started this about 35 years ago, and you know, I wish we could take down the wall and people could come back, but we get here early every morning, and we've been doing it the same way for over 35 years. We get here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and our people, just have a passion. We know the babies and the mamas and the kids. We know the families. We've got about 500 employees now, but we enjoy the family, and we try to take care of our people. But our people get here and they're passionate about the food as well. So we do start fresh every morning at 8 o'clock. That's the thing that separates a lot of businesses. If you want to know who's cooking fresh, drive around back in the morning on your way to school or to work and see whose cars are back there. We get in here 7:30, 8 o'clock and try to do it every morning from scratch, cooking the chips and trying to cook healthy. But we go way beyond from the farm to the table. I just got back from California just a few weeks ago. I go out there, every summer, the end of the summer, and try to be in the fields when they're harvesting our tomatoes and for our hot sauce and our lettuce. And so I get to see the produce and meet the farmers, so it does help to know what goes into what we do.
That is fabulous.
I think it's very cool. We know where our lettuce came from today that's harvested and that we're using today, and where our onions come from, Steve Gill's onions. I think it's cool to know those things, but we try not to use preservatives and additives. A lot of people do, and I think if you use food with integrity that has a little flavor to it, you don't have to do that. So starting with good products and not adding to it, even from the tortillas to the oil that we use, trans fat free, hormone free cheese and dairy products, I think is important. But we don't get to tell that story, so hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of that in the kitchen.
Yeah. That's fabulous. And you use the words food with integrity.
Yes.
I love that.
Well, I heard a guy say one time it's important to know your salad. We do. I mean, I'm there when they harvest it and all the way through to the table. I know where it comes from, and so
the farmers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm out there when they're harvesting. We use a cooperative called Marcon, and we deal with them, and so I'm able to go to Yuma. In just a few weeks, they'll be harvesting the lettuce in Yuma, Arizona, because that's the hottest place in the United States, and so that's where in the wintertime they have to get the lettuce. So we go to the fields and we meet the farmers, and we're out there. So I think it's really cool to understand what goes into the food. The oils, the tortillas, the tortillas that we use is just corn. If you want to know if you got a good tortilla, just bite into it. All you should taste is corn. If you taste a little aftertaste, it probably has some acids in there and preservatives. We don't do that. So I think it's an advantage, and sometimes it's costly. I mean, I can buy cheaper tomatoes that go in our hot sauce, but as I showed you the story earlier today, these tomatoes are the only thing that's in is this tomatoes. Steam peeled Roma tomatoes come at a cost, but we buy enough volume, we're able to get it right. I think that's what I'd like to take people in the kitchen and show them what we do. I think I'm proud of what we do, and we haven't changed it in 30 years. Awesome. Sometimes chicken gets expensive, sometimes avocados get expensive depending on what happens on the farm.
Yeah.
We try not to change, but we continue. We don't tell people put less avocado or guacamole on the plate, just keep it going. Yeah. Don't cut back on the lettuce. We try to do that, and I think the results come around. We've had a good, strong business that continues to grow, and we're in secondary markets usually, towns like Waxahachie and Paris, Texas, and Abilene. So we are across Texas, all the way to Texarkana.
How many stores do y'all have here in Texas?
In Texas, we have 5, and then we have 4 in Arkansas. We have 1 in Louisiana.
Nice.
So yeah, we just continue to grow and keep adding them on. So yeah, we're pleased with it. We want to knock the walls down so people can see the kitchen.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
The one thing that you would want somebody to take away whenever they come eat, what is the one thing that you would want them to take away from their experience here at Tamales?
I think, I talked about food with integrity. It really is, it just hurts me when people say this is microwave food. They say it's microwave maybe because the plate is hot, but we use an oven that heats the plate. No, everything is cooked fresh every day. We're real proud of that. So I think if they can walk away having a good meal at a good value, you know, we've tried to be at a good value price point for people, because most of our people are just hardworking people. So you know, if they can just walk away that they got a good value and felt good about it, and the atmosphere was clean and good music, good temperature, and a smiling server. So I think.
Yeah, the store is very clean.
Well, thank you.
And I got to go in the back already and like nose around and meet the people and see them rolling the enchiladas, and it's very clean. I love that.
Well,
I love that.
you know, we try to hire smiles. If somebody, you notice all of our cooks are back there smiling, and they've been they've been back there a while. We're real proud of that. So I think that if they give their passion into the food, so if you start with good ingredients and your people handle it well, and we can turn it out. You know, if someone's family shows up, you know how they really go the extra mile? We tell them everybody that comes in is family. So cook every day like your mama's showing up. You know, that's what we try to do. Yeah.
I love it. And I can tell y'all, you got to come eat some enchiladas today, because I saw him hand rolling those enchiladas, and it's not just like a cheese stick in there or a little piece of, I mean, they're stuffed full.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. And there's so much to it. I mean, everything, the people were back there hand chopping stuff and cutting stuff. It's fresh.
Yeah.
Food with integrity is good words for what you guys do here.
I think it's important to know your food. So from the farm to the table.
And it's good food.
Yeah,
it's good food.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, I'm a South Texas girl, so Mexican food's right up my alley.
Yeah.
I've eaten it, you know, from like the people that make it, you know. So sometimes you don't find good Mexican food, but you guys have it here. It's
well,
good.
thanks. You know, people have a different flavor profile up here. Tex-Mex is very important. They like Tex-Mex, and so, you know, the feta meat that we use, it's skirt steak. It's not a sirloin. In Texas, we use skirt steak, so it's a choice inside skirt, and we don't pump it full of chemicals. I keep saying that, but we tenderize it overnight in our own marination, 24 hours, and the next day we take it out and cook it for you. We cook brisket overnight in a special oven just made for briskets. The brisket tacos have become popular in Texas. We're going to taste some of those today, hopefully.
I got to see that oven, and it's really cool, and y'all are going to get to see
Cooks all night long, and it's cooking whole. Yeah, we're going to open that thing, crack the brisket open. So when we run out of brisket every day, we're just out. We just, you know, we cook what we need for the day, 2 or 3 briskets. And
yeah. You know it's good whenever you show up and you're like, okay, I want this. Well, we ran out of that.
Yep.
And we're not going to go microwave something or just throw something on the plate.
Correct.
We're sorry, you'll have to come back tomorrow.
Yep.
That's when you know you got good food.
Yeah, well, we try to do that.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks.
Very cool. Well, you know what, folks? I'm telling y'all, Tamales Restaurant's so worth your drive across Texas. And there's several of them. So as you're driving across Texas, make sure you stop into one. Tell them that Bob sent you.
Thanks.
And it's just worth your time. It's good food, good people, family atmosphere. You're going to love it.
Well, thanks, Wendy.
It's just amazing.
Cool.
I'm so excited. We're excited. We're going to take you in the kitchen and show you some more. Get to see all the good stuff, good food, meet the people.
Cool.
All right. There you go, folks. There you have it. Worth your drive across Texas. Bye, y'all.